Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 13. Module 13 is the first of two modules that will cover the last essay assignment for the class, the last major essay assignment for the class. This essay is an analysis assignment, and so it will be a little bit different approach than what you've done before. It is not a research paper, and so you won't be doing any outside research for this one. We're just going to be looking at one thing and then completing an analysis of it. And so we're working on something a little bit more simple. The research paper really is the hard part of the class. And so now that we have finished that and you got that done, everything else in the class should feel a little bit easier, and we're sort of going downhill from here. So let me take you through the assignments here. You have some more readings. I think this is the last new quiz that you will get. So Module 13 readings are covering visual analysis, visual response, and that kind of thing. And then you'll have one more quiz in the class, but it's a review of the other quizzes that you have taken. So it'll be review of the information that you've learned this semester. So this is the last new quiz that you'll take. And we only have a few short sections of our textbooks that we haven't looked at, and the main one to look at is chapter 3 out of practical argument is decoding visual arguments, and so that should give you some ideas for this essay. And then of course you want to take the quiz. The other thing that you're doing in this module is preparing for your essay, and to do that we're actually going to do a discussion board. We only have 2 modules for this essay, so 2 weeks. It's not a terribly long essay, but I do want to give students kind of a chance to get feedback from other students, particularly if you've never done an assignment like this before. And so posting on a discussion board is kind of a good way to do that. So what you're going to be doing is, first thing you want to do is look over the criteria for the essay. So this is the essay that you're actually writing in the next module. It's not due until the end of Module 14, but this essay is asking you to pick a visual image. Most students pick an advertisement, works really well for this, but you could also use a cartoon, a photograph, artwork, etc. So there's a lot of different things that you could look at. You are not doing any research on this, so we don't particularly care about the context, who the artist was, who created it, that kind of thing. What we're really interested in is what can you see visually. If you just look at this image, what do you see, and how can you analyze it? So analysis is breaking down something into its parts in order to understand what's happening as a whole. And so what you're trying to do is understand what the main message is of the visual, what the creator is trying to say with the visual, and by doing that you're breaking it down into things like design elements, compositional features, and then context, where it's situated, not context when it was created, but where it's situated. So a lot of students find it useful to like go pick up a physical magazine and flip through it and see an advertisement in there, because which magazine it's published in can tell you a little bit about what they were intending this advertisement to do. So, you know, advertisements in Men's Health are going to be different from advertisements in Game Informer, different from advertisements in, you know, HGTV magazine. So you might think about where you found it, what website is it on, that kind of thing, who is the intended audience, that kind of thing. So the essay itself is only 2 to 5 pages. I'm expecting about a 5 to 6 paragraph essay. The first 2 body paragraphs need to cover one design element or compositional feature, or the context obviously is part of that, and then at least one body paragraph that covers rhetorical appeals. So we're pulling that in from other discussions that we've had already this semester. So looking at ethos, logos, and pathos, I'm actually looking for you to name the rhetorical appeal, and then the intended audience, so naming a specific intended audience. So if this is published in Cosmo, you know, who is the intended audience, who normally picks up a Cosmo magazine, that kind of thing. Or it might have a more general audience. So who is the intended audience, and what are the rhetorical appeals that are most strongly used? You can use first person if you want to. The main thing I don't want you to do is talk to the reader as if he or she is looking at it, because you don't want to assume what the reader is thinking when they look at this visual. The other thing to remember is that this is not a research paper, so you are not doing any research on who created it, when it was created, why it was created, that kind of thing. We are only interested in the visual itself and what you can understand from what you can understand from looking at it. So I'm only interested in your opinion, not other people's opinions, and that's very important so you don't get caught with issues of plagiarism. I don't really care what your analysis is, as long as it is your opinion that you are looking at this visual. I may disagree with what you think, but as long as you are interpreting things that are in the visual, then there shouldn't be a problem. So the other thing that you have to remember, so you'll have an MLA works cited page, and I have some examples of that in the next module with just the visual listed. You also have to have a copy of the visual, and that might be just copying and pasting the image into your Word document. You can also provide a link. I just have to be able to see the visual, so make sure that it's one that you can show to me. So if you have a physical magazine, you'll have to take a picture of it and then drop that into your essay. So in order to prepare for the essay, the first thing you're going to do is choose your visual and then post it on the discussion board. So once you've read over the criteria, you're going to post your visual. Make sure that's a link that students can follow, or you can actually insert an image. And so when you go into your text box here, right here is the insert image. You can upload an image if you have a file saved. It makes it kind of nice because it'll actually show up in the box and then nobody's having to follow links. But that will be, you'll put the image in there first, and then you're going to answer some questions about it. And these are just questions to get you started thinking about what you're going to include in your essay. So we're doing some brainstorming here for your essay, and then you're responding to two of your peers. The main part of the response is thinking about what can you help this other student with, what can you add to their analysis or their understanding of the visual, and you guys have been pretty good about that so far this semester. So that's all for the unit. Like I said, we're just preparing for our last essay, so there's not a lot of pressure in this module. It's just some easy assignments to complete. If you are struggling with finding that image to write your paper about, you are more than welcome to email me, and I can give you some direction, and I can help you if you're stuck between more than one image that you might want to use. So hopefully you are doing well. If you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great